For some reason, these homes haven't been able to find an owner for years or even decades. We looked at the various reasons, and you know what? They are really shocking. If you are ready to hear these stories, make yourself comfortable. We're about to begin. The Amityville Home, New York. This three-story colonial mansion located in Amityville, Long Island, is arguably the #1 place when it comes to ghost stories. It all started on 13th of November, 1974, when 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo shot his parents, as well as his 4 siblings here. A year later, the property was purchased by the Lutz family. But after only 28 days, they fled the house, leaving all of their belongings inside. They told many terrifying stories about evil spirits that allegedly haunted them in their home. People enjoyed these horror stories, so the couple decided to capitalize on it. The entire business resulted in $300,000 of profits. And by the way, the Amityville mansion only cost them $80,000. Be that as it may, now the infamous mansion is avoided by any potential buyers, and only the local TV channels shoot segments here from time to time. The house on Plant Avenue, the Game House. Not far from St. Louis, in a small village, Webster Groves, there is a large empty house built from wood and bricks, 2 stories, 5 bedrooms, and the square footage of 3,400. All of that is on sale for $550,000. The house was built in 1895, and in 1906 it was purchased by a German immigrant, Henry Game. He was an introverted, slightly eccentric man who had a habit of creating secret hiding places where he would hide his golden coins. He died in the 50s, and since then, the home belonged to several families who all told scary stories about the spirit of Henry Game searching for his gold in the night. Currently, the mansion belongs to Robert and June Wheeler, who maintain its reputation of a haunted house. Needless to say, no one is eager to buy this house from them. The Adam Griffin House, New Orleans. It's hard to believe that no one wants to live in this luxurious New Orleans mansion. It was built in 1852 by Adam Griffin, but after the start of the Civil War, the owner decided to leave the house. The Union troops occupied the empty estate. That's where they held war prisoners. Among them were 2 Confederate soldiers accused of robbery. The men were facing execution. Both of them took their own life in the Griffin House attic. Since then, there have been rumors of drunken singing, stomping of heavy boots coming from the attic, and sightings of uniformed men on the stairs. After the war, the Griffin House was home to many commercial organizations and factories, but due to its infamy, no one stayed there for long, and eventually this beautiful place turned into an abandoned house. Now it belongs to a couple who put it on the market for $1,345,000. How do you think? Will they manage to sell it? The Uli Home, New Mexico. This Victorian mansion in Silver City, New Mexico, is considered to be of unique historical value. The size alone is impressive: 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and even a separate room for your mother-in-law. The mansion was listed at $351,500, but no one wants to buy a property where the spirits of the original owners, Stefan and Susanna Uli, as well as their daughter, Elizabeth, are roaming the halls. Mr. Uli, a German immigrant that arrived in Silver City in 1880, was one of the first residents of the city. He was well known for his signature brickwork. Many of Silver City's adobe buildings were replaced with Uli brick. Stefan died in this house in 1903, and the locals insist that his spirit still hasn't left his home. Youngsville, Louisiana. And this two-story house in Louisiana, 2,400 square feet in size and featuring 2 working air conditioner units, is offered for free. The house, located on Vero School Road, was built during the 1920s and 1930s. Its current owner is looking for someone willing to move the house at their own expense, which would offset its value. Moving it to somewhere nearby would cost around $40,000. By the way, the most unique thing about this house is its reputation. It is known for strange noises in the walls and ceiling and other unexplained occurrences. So, if you have the means to relocate the house and you don't mind having a ghost for your roommate, you can become the owner of this house. Hampton Lillybridge House, Georgia. Take a look at this distinct and elegant 2-story house with a mansard roof and wide shiplap sidings. It was built in 1796 for its namesake, Hampton Lillybridge, but was subsequently converted into a boarding house. One of the residents committed suicide here, and for a long time it was broadly ignored by potential buyers. Finally, in 1963, it was purchased by antique dealer Jim Williams. When the house was being moved, part of the roof collapsed on one of the construction workers, and as you can guess, the rumors of the building's bad energy started circulating. After the crew discovered an old pre-colonial crypt under the basement's foundation, the ghost stories started popping up like mushrooms after the rain. Just imagine. It even came to a point when they decided to conduct a religious exorcism. Unsurprisingly, the buyers still avoid this house like the plague. The Hampton Lillybridge house was listed for sale in 2018 for $2,150,000. The home of Conrad Aiken. We couldn't resist mentioning this mysterious house in Savannah, Georgia. At the end of the 19th century, the house at 228 East Oglethorpe Avenue was occupied by the wealthy family of poet Conrad Aiken. When he was 11 years old, his mentally ill father fatally shot his mother, then shot himself. Conrad refused to live in his parents' house and stayed nearby, where he eventually died. And what about house number 228? It was bought by a local doctor. He thought that the house was haunted and even conducted a paranormal investigation. The house was listed for sale 4 years ago for $1.5 million, but due to its negative reputation, it's still on the market. The Cowboy Mansion. This 5-story wooden house has been standing atop of a hill near Yellowstone National Park for over 30 years. An eccentric engineer by the name of Francis Lee Smith has built it over 12 years using salvaged timber from a wildfire on the neighboring mountain slope, which is why he got the logs for free. Night after night, he worked on the house in solitude, lit by a single light bulb, without any blueprints or a plan. Smith paid a high price for his obsession. First, his wife left him, and soon after, he fell down from a balcony he built and died of resulting injuries. As time went by, the house began to decay, as well as falling victim to vandalism. Due to the lack of amenities and its unstable structure, no one was willing to live in this house. By the way, would you like to know how much Smith's daughter is asking for it? According to the latest available info, the asking price is $750,000. Villa de Vecchi. And this villa was constructed in the 1850s for Count Felix de Vecchi, the head of Italian National Guard. Initially, it was located on the territory of a picturesque 32-acre park. The building was equipped with all modern amenities, including dumbwaiters and water heating. The hot water flowed through the pipes embedded in the walls, which consequently caused the roof to collapse. This house witnessed a myriad of deaths, including Count de Vecchi. Following his death, the house was passed down from one owner to the next, and by the 1960s, the house was completely abandoned. Fun fact, the villa withstood a massive avalanche that destroyed all the other buildings nearby. This resulted in rumors that the house was protected by its ghosts. As you can see, not much is left of Villa de Vecchi today. The supporting structures and roof require urgent repairs, and the frescoes inside need an experienced restoration professional. Unfortunately, the building continues to fall apart, and no one wants to invest in its restoration. Habitat 67. Do you see this strange building that resembles honeycomb? This is an experimental building designed by architect Moshe Safdie, who tried to create a high-quality housing complex within the dense urban environment of Quebec. To lower the costs of construction, Safdie decided to use modular units. The chaotic positioning of the units left space for rooftop gardens and increased access to fresh air and sunshine. Habitat 67 was constructed with 354 identical concrete forms, connected with steel rods, cables, rebar. The residences differ in shape and sizes, since each one is made of 1 to 4 600-square-foot boxes in various configurations. All 12 floors are serviced by 3 elevators, with walkways and bridges leading to the apartments. Habitat 67 was built in the Brutalism style, which is known for its functionality, urbanity, boldness, and complexity, lack of decorum, and prevalence of reinforced concrete. Unfortunately, this experiment was unsuccessful. People considered the housing complex unreliable and even life-threatening. Empty units are getting older with each passing day, losing hope of finding their owner.